Hey guys, Ernie here. Welcome back to another VB WRX video. Now, some of you may remember that one of the first mods that we added to our VB WRX was a Perrin shift stop. All a shift stop does is basically prevent your shifter from having lots of left and right slop while you're engaged in the gear. Now, some of the reasons that I am a huge fan of this modification is A, I'm really not a big fan of the shifter feel in the VA and VB WRX, as they really are just really sloppy. And B, this comes in at under $40, and the difference that it makes is absolutely worth every penny and then some. You know what, I'll even say it right now. As far as bang for buck goes, this is the absolute best mod you can do for the VA and VB WRX. Now this is probably the point while you're wondering why am I blabbing on about it. Well, recently Perrin decided that simply just getting rid of left to right slop wasn't enough, so they came out with the ultimate shifter stop. Now this will add these two aluminum anodized pieces that will also get rid of front to back shifter slop. So today, I'm going to go back into our VB WRX and show you how easy it is to install this. All you'll need is an Allen key that they provide and a 7mm open-ended wrench. So without further ado, let's get inside of our VB and let's get rid of that shifter slop. Alright, as you guys can already tell, we're inside our VB WRX, so your first step will be to remove the shift knob. Then we need to remove this trim around it, and this trim will also want to pop out with this little rubber phone, coin holder, whatever you want to call it. But basically how to remove this is just to stick your hands kind of beneath it and just simply pull up. And there we are. You just want to get the boot off of the reverse lockout. And voila, pretty much all out. As you can see, here are the clips that hold it in for reference. All right, so once you take your shift boot off, once you get your shifter trim off, you'll be greeted with a sight similar to this, assuming you've already installed a Perrin shift stop. If you haven't, all you will be greeted with is this OEM shift stop and / reverse lockout. So as you can see, can't get into reverse, pull up on this, it gets the little tab up above this and you can get into reverse. Now when I installed the original Perrin shifter stop, I missed the memo about the two little washers that you have to put here. So as you'll see, our third gear slop is quite a bit worse than our first gear slop, which is basically non-existent. But when installing this, you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of slop, because if you don't, then your shift stop might be preventing you from getting all the way in gear or getting a direct safe engagement, which may lead to catastrophic transmission failure. So yeah, make sure that you leave a little bit of slop still there. But anyways, we're going to start with those washers that I mentioned that I forgot last time. If you do need instructions on how to install the shift stop, I'll leave a link in the description to my original video. Going to hold our magnet close while we're on the last few threads. Let's see here. Oh, we're close. There we go. Now let's get our washers on. Leave it kind of loose so it's barely touching the washer. Please, please, yes. Got it. All right, now you want to get them somewhere around hand tight, because before you tighten them down, you want to make sure that the washers are centered on the studs before you tighten down your nuts. All right, I think those are about as center as I can get them. Now to gently tighten them down. All right, that should be about good. Basically, all you're trying to achieve here is you're just trying to reduce the gap between this piece of plastic and this round cylindrical piece of plastic, and same thing down here. All right, now that we've gotten rid of the gap between our plastic pieces, it's time for the ultimate part of this ultimate shifter stop kit. So I unfortunately can't get you guys a good angle, but I can show you the picture from the instructions that Perrin so kindly provides. But basically, we just need to trim away little plastic tabs on the bottom of the shifter rod to basically just clear some space for the front and back shifter stops. So I'm going to use a little metal scalpel, but I'm assuming that something like a little box cutter knife will also do the job perfectly. Some tips I can give you here is to go into 3rd gear if you're working on the back tab, and go into 4th gear if you're working on the front tab. That'll give you a whole lot more room. And also push up on the reverse lockout. That will bring those tabs quite a bit upwards and help you. If you absolutely need even a few extra millimeters of upward movement, you can take this rubber O-ring band kind of thing off, and that will give you, like I said, just a few extra millimeters upwards, so you'll have just that much more room to work with, which sometimes honestly can make all the difference. Now it's time to turn this Perrin shifter stop into Perrin's ultimate shifter stop. So what you're going to want to do is grab the 2 longer bolts that Perrin provides, as well as the Allen key that they provide, and of course, the front and back shifter stops. So what we will want to do here is basically uninstall one of the shorter Perrin bolts. I'll also be maintaining pressure on one of the shift stops to keep them from moving, because I have them set in a place that we are happy with and already used for thousands of miles. Loosen just one of the bolts. All right. Grab our front shifter stop. This will be the larger piece. Slot it in. Grab one of the larger bolts. And get that hopefully threaded in. It's quite the long path for it. There we go. They say to tighten to about 10 foot-pounds. Should be good right there. Now that we have that in, let's make sure we can still get in first. We sure can. So now all we have to do is rinse and repeat with the bottom one. All right, once you have everything installed and tightened down, last thing you want to do is to just make sure that you can still get into every single gear and that you still have just a little bit of play left. Also make sure you can still get into reverse, which we can, so I am all good to reinstall everything, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, and that is the Perrin Super Shifter Stop installed. Took me all of about 45 minutes, and that's with filming and having a tripod in the way. So really shouldn't take you longer than an hour, even if you don't really know how to wrench on cars. It comes in at under $40 and just makes a world of a difference in driving experience. And those are all reasons why this is probably my most favorite bang for buck modification on the VA and VB WRXs. Now, a little bit of background info. These will come in 3 different variations depending on if you just have your OEM shifter, the factory STI short throw, or the Perrin short throw. They have different versions to accommodate all of those options. So just make sure that if you do pick one up, you pick the right one. Now, that'll about do it for today, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe. And as always, love all of you. See you in the next one.